house, but I want to give you some for instances. And this one, you have down here, this is the entranceway, okay? They have the front door, and the foyer, and the porch entranceway right at the foot of the stairs. And also they have a little side porch back here over by the 3-car garage, and then they have a sliding glass screen porch door out there. So in this particular house, there's a front door, a back door, and a side porch. If for some reason there should be a fire in the central portion of this house, anybody who was up here in the master bedroom would have a very hard time getting down the stairs and getting out either one of these two or that exit. They would not be able to get out. So this master bedroom, which says it's on the 2nd floor because you have to go up the stairs, they need to have some means of getting out of that house that does not involve these 3 exits. They would need to have a chain ladder or some kind of rope or some kind of something so they would be able to get down out of that master bedroom that did not include any one of those 3 exits. Now I told you before you had to have at least 2 exits. Well, you have to think also about the possibility of a fire or some other thing that would prevent you from going out the quote normal exits. You need to have like a window or something. If your plan is I'm going to go out a window and you open up the window and you have a big shrub outside of your window, you're going to climb out that window in your pajamas into the shrub? Okay, trim the shrub back and put a little wooden ladder or something there. Or have a wooden ladder inside that you can open the window, push out the screen, put it outside the window and climb up and get out of that so you're not trying to, trying to in your nightgown to climb over a shrub. I know with me and my nightgown it's always pretty difficult. Thanks for laughing. So, that's just a couple of things to think about of if there was a fire, how would I get out? You need to have some options in there. In this one, the kitchen is located here. If there was a kitchen fire, that would probably preclude going out this door, although they might be able to get out either door. Now, if you had a large fence, or if you had children, and so you have gates, but the gates are locked. So let's say this was a gated off here, that was all gated and closed. And your children were going to go, but they couldn't go out the front door, they go out the back door. Are your children able to get out of your own backyard? I don't know that I necessarily want my children in the backyard when my house is burning down. First of all, it would be extremely traumatic. Second of all, it would be extremely dangerous. So is there a wall, a gate, or something else that they can get out of that's not locked? Or they can throw a ladder or something to get out of? If the back door is one of your evacuation plans, think about, if I'm going out that back door, where am I going to go? How am I going to get there, and will I be able to get to wherever my rendezvous point is? And how difficult would it be to do that? Try doing it at night one time. Going out without any lights. If you have a big earthquake or something like that, there's no lights. If you go out in your backyard, there's no lights whatsoever. Can you operate the gate mechanism or, something like that? Can you get out of that gate at nighttime with no lights? And if you're like me without any glasses on, because I probably run out of the house and forget those too. So those are just a few things to think about when you are working out the plans of your house. You're going over to Ward and June Cleaver's house across the street, and their rally point for your children is over on the porch. Especially if you have small children, you're going to want to go over to Tom and June's house and go, guess what? Our rally point is your porch. And if they're good neighbors, they're going to say, of course. And so if my children show up on your porch at midnight screaming and they're scared, you've got somebody who's going to take them in if you can't be there. So you want to do that, or if it's just you and your wife or something like that, do you really want to show up at their house in your underwear at midnight going, let us in! And they go, we don't know who you are. You might want to tell them part of your plan. You also need a secondary rally point. Church buildings, friend house, or something like that is within a close, short walking distance. It might be entirely possible that you're not going to have a car or anything else. You might have to leave quickly. So you want it to be someplace you can walk quickly. And think about, you may have to walk barefoot. Right? So is it an easy barefoot walk? Is it a barefoot, that kind of thing. Where are you going to go if you're in the office? This is one of my favorite ones, and I'm going to tell you why. Because oftentimes we don't think about this much at all either. First of all, you need to have a map. Not a GPS system, not an electronic device, one of those old things that folds up. One of those things you unfold it and then can never get it back together again, one of those. Thomas guide, something like that. You have a map of the area. It's entirely possible that in an emergency, you're not going to be able to take the route that you normally go from your office to your home. And they're going to go on the radio and say that there's a problem in this locality, you have to take other measures. And you go, wait a second, I take the 91 back and forth to work, that's how I get there. Well, sorry, that doesn't work. Oh, good. I don't know no other way. So you need to have a map to find out which way to go. And you need to have at least 2 different routes to get to and from work, and preferably those routes should not include a freeway. Why? Anyone want to venture a guess why? Bridges. Bridges. They suspect that somewhere between 5 and 10% of bridges will fail in a major earthquake. Some of them may be down, and those freeway overpasses will be gone. And if you don't have a secondary way to get from your house, from your office to home, you're going to have problems. You also need to have established, just like at home, a secondary rally point. What if for some reason you were unable to go home? Where are you going to go? Are you going to stay at your office? Maybe. Maybe you have to leave your office, but you can't go home either. Where are you going to go? I came to this epiphany the other day, a couple months ago. I was driving down the road and was going out to Temecula, and I passed a steak center on the 15 freeway. And I thought, steak centers. I'm going to find out where the steak centers are located in and around where I work. I work in various places. If I know where they are and I have a list of them somewhere, I could probably go from steak center to steak center to get where I needed to go. Or at least it would be some kind of a safe haven for me. You know, here's my company, please let me in. Okay? So that would be a safe place to go. If you have that, or if you have friends or relatives in an area, you can use those as your rally point to go somewhere other than home. So let's play a little scenario. Here we have a map of the Los Angeles area. And rather than some catastrophic calamity, Long Beach Harbor is filled with refineries, oil, all that kind of stuff. Well, let's say, for the sake of this argument, some huge explosion goes off in one of the refineries down in the Long Beach Harbor. And a big, huge explosion and fire happens. Does anybody remember the, what's it called, Texas City calamity? Happened in the 60s? It pretty much blew up an entire town called Texas City in around Houston. Big, huge fire, burned for weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't know, weeks and weeks, but at least a week or two. It burned for a long time. So let's say, for example, this fire starts here and we have, like you're talking about the oil refinery, thick black oily smoke is being spewed out and is being carried out of the Long Beach area. That smoke and ash and oil and everything else is being carried by, is starting here and is affecting just this area. Now, if you happen to work in and around this area, you're going to be directly affected. They're probably going to make you evacuate out of your place of work. But you work up here in El Segundo area, you go, nah, I'm good, that's over there, it doesn't affect me much. I click multiple buttons. But as the fire starts to spread, and the smoke and ash, it starts to affect a wider and wider area. And that wind is blowing that smoke and ash into a greater and greater area. The freeway that you normally travel to and from work, either the 405 or the 91, or maybe even the 10, have been closed because they're not operational anymore because of the oil and the smoke and the visibility.